So, experiential realization, which is transcendent to the mind, puts an end to the need for intellectual understanding of reality. Because what we are dealing with is the end of suffering, and philosophizing beyond a certain point becomes a source of suffering. Because philosophy is basically the intellectual attempt to understand reality, and process of questioning that we go through while philosophizing simply gives rise to more questions when the questions which we have are supposedly answered, and then those questions give rise to even more questions if they are answered, and so on and so forth. So we are falling through a bottomless infinite pit when we are indulging in an intellectual attempt to understand reality. And further, all intellectual understanding basically consists of arrangements of words which are either symbols on a piece of paper or sequences of sound. But if we notice, there is something here which is independent of any form or any sound, which is present regardless of what sounds are present or what forms are being perceived. And that is unavoidable and undeniable. It's present as I'm speaking right now. Whatever I'm saying is arising and passing away in this ever present reality. So, this instantaneous presence is of a greater degree of reliability than anything that can be spoken. Because speaking basically just leads to an infinite perpetuation of words. Words giving rise to more words, giving rise to more words. Questions giving rise to more questions, giving rise to more questions. So on to infinity. So suffering cannot be ended at the level of the mind. It only leads to deep states of confusion if we try and establish an accurate intellectual understanding. So the key is to be in touch with that which is beyond the mind, which is beyond the intellect, which is ever present. The mind, as we've seen, is not ever present. It consists of thoughts which come and go. Questions are also thoughts which come and go. Self perpetuating thoughts which come and go. So when you recognize the presence of the immutable, that which is before, during, and after every thought, thoughts lose their hypnotic quality, their mesmerizing quality, their the property of thoughts that they absorb your attention completely is transcended by being in touch with the translinguistic silent presence from which all these thoughts arise, which is perceiving this collection of thoughts right now, which is silently present regardless of whether you're thinking or not thinking, questioning or not questioning. So, connection with that is freedom from questions. So, one goes through a phase in which one questions everything intensely, and that simply perpetuates suffering even more. And then one becomes established in that which cannot be lost, that which cannot come and go, which does not come and go, which is ever present and undeniable and unavoidable here and now, instantaneously. It's that quick. So philosophy is transcended in the ultimate understanding, and the intellect is seen as an ineffective instrument to understand consciousness because it arises from consciousness firstly. It is useful in a certain domain, the domain of practical functioning. Beyond that, it is not in the scope of the intellect to understand reality. Reality can only be experienced, it cannot be understood, and it is being experienced all the time. So, simply seeing this is freedom from questions. You reach a state where there are no more questions left, and whether you answer the questions that are there or not is irrelevant to the undeniable and unavoidable fact of absolute presence of pure consciousness here and now.